Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Adi Govinda Sarvakarno Karno Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai 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 Radha Ramana Hari Govinda 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 Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal 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 Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Thank you, Richa, for such beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chanting, and what a sacred and wonderful way to begin our satsang. really getting us into that space of open-hearted love and devotion and presence and gratitude and joy. So thank you, Richa. And it's such a great joy to be coming together with you all in this satsang. As most of you know, I'm currently in Los Angeles temporarily, but due to this wonderful gift of technology, we're able to be coming together anyway, able to be truly bridging countries and continents and oceans to remember what we've always known anyway, which is we are together, we are one. And this great gift of technology is just another medium helping us remember that. So I'm so happy to be able to be with you all. And I know we have some questions that are coming in. Ganga Nandani ji, Jai Gange, how are you?
Giving you a big virtual hug. We love you, we miss you, and we would like you back from the ocean to the river.
Yes. Usually rivers into oceans, but now we'll go from ocean to river. Yes.
Yes, because you are the ocean. So the river wants you back. So the first question that has come in is, once you have meditated and practiced for a long time and think you have figured out what is in you that is making you stressed and angry, that has created the sanskaras, then how do you go on to heal them?
So it's a beautiful question because we speak about meditation as a tool. Typically, we talk about meditation as a medium, a way for enlightenment. Meditation is that which connects us with the truth of who we are, that divinity, that oneness, that wholeness. But meditation also, it's not only a path to the awareness of the undivided, infinite soul, divine soul that we are. It's also a path to healing our psyches, healing our particular experience here on Mother Earth. Because so much becomes aware in meditation. We are able to really see so much of our patterns when we meditate. And so when that becomes obvious, when we see, this is why I have anger, this is why I have pain, this is why I have this issue. So what do we do then? How do we heal it? So the first thing we do is we accept it. So many of us, when we enter a journey of healing, we enter it in a way of thinking that there's something in us that is wrong, that has to be fixed. And there isn't. Whatever it is that is there is exactly what each of our ego, psyches, experiences, karmic packages have created in response to whatever we have experienced in life. So if there's anger buried within, if there's expectation, if there's attachment, if there's fear, it's there in response to a very specific circumstance, situation, experience, sanskara that you have been through. So the first thing we do is we bow to it. because we recognize that it has been created as our ego, as our life experiences have gone on. So we bow to it as a part of that life experience. But then we also, that's the welcoming namaste. But namaste serves two purposes. We do namaste when we meet. Hello, namaste, nice to see you. We also do namaste when our time together is over. So it was so wonderful to be together. Nice to see you. We'll meet again soon. Namaste. And with those patterns that we see inside of ourselves, first we do the welcoming namaste. Welcome to my being, to my karmic package, to my life experience, to my psyche, to a building block of my ego. But then we also do the bye namaste, as in your time here is over. You no longer have a purpose here. All of that which has built up our ego and our psyches and our life emotional experience has come because, as I said, in response, and also it has come because on some level it thinks that that is what we need. It is there to help us in some way. And yet, its time is now over. It's no longer helping, it's now hindering. So patterns that we develop and evolve in childhood no longer serve us in adulthood. Ways of thinking, ways of reacting that may have been the very best that our ego could do when we were young no longer serve us when we are adults, when we're not at the mercy the way that we were as children of our parents or of our family members or of other life circumstances. There is a control, a power that we now have that we didn't have. So we no longer need these defense mechanisms. We no longer need these patterns to serve as crutches to help us navigate our way through life. Because a lot of these emotions come up in that way. Oh, when this happens, I get angry. It's how I deal with that situation. It's how I feel in control of the situation. But that control is very illusory. Anger is never in control. Anger is never empowered. Anger is always unconscious and disempowered. So we see them. We thank them for their role in our life, and we bid them a very loving and heartfelt farewell. Now, along with that farewell, there's work that needs to be done. But the farewell is important because it signals to our own mind, I am done. I no longer am putting out the welcome mat for these patterns, for these emotions, for these ways of moving through the world. And then we have fun tools for working with them. And so when you notice that they come up, there's a lot of different ways of working. One of the simplest, easiest ways, it seems oversimple, but it actually works in a lot of cases, is a very simple thin rubber band on your hand. And whenever you notice that you are engaging in a pattern, a habit that you want to change, but you've done it. And it could be literally anything ranging from something just like biting your fingernails or yelling at someone, to having certain thought patterns, to having certain reactions. You simply snap the rubber band on your wrist. And it's very powerful because it hurts. It doesn't hurt enough that you're going to severely injure yourself, but it hurts enough that the hand does not like it. This skin right here on the inside of the wrist is very, very sensitive. And it doesn't like to have a rubber band snap against it. So every time you do that, the mind is saying, I don't like this. I don't like this. And the mind is going to learn very quickly how to avoid that pain. And whether it means that when your hand comes up to your mouth to bite the finger, you don't, because the mind remembers, the minute that finger goes in my mouth, I'm going to have pain in my hand. Or whether it's yelling at someone, whether it's thinking about someone in a certain way, whether it's having an internal reaction to a situation. Just keep flinging that rubber band. And the mind slowly will actually deprogram itself from that habit. And it will start to associate that pattern with pain rather than with safety, which it always has. And when the mind starts to identify it with pain, you're many steps on the way to being able to end it. Other ways, so I would definitely recommend the rubber band way. Other ways are simply awareness. Just as you notice it coming, you anchor in the breath. It's very much like meditation. When our mind wanders, we bring it back. In the same way in life, we react. We have a thought, we have an emotion, we have a pattern, we engage. The moment we notice that we've done that, we just bring it back. And you get to a level where even before you've reacted, you see it happen. You see that it's about to happen. And you're able to anchor in the breath, anchor in your mantra, and actually prevent the reaction from happening. But it takes practice. You didn't develop this pattern overnight or in one time. You developed it over a long period of time, many experiences. So give yourself time, have patience, and you absolutely will be able to overcome this. I've done it. I've seen so many people do it. Richa, sweetie, I can't hear you for some reason. I could hear Nandini, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Okay. So here's another question from Jyoti Kumar.
Okay.
Guruma, please share when you were misunderstood and how you dealt with the hurt.
We all long on a very deep level to be understood. But I think that longing comes from the illusion that in order to be loved, we have to be understood. I think that the yearning to be loved is the core yearning, because love is who we are. And so giving love, expressing love, and receiving love is absolutely fundamental to who we are. As embodied humans, as soul, as spirit, as divinity, love is that energy of the universe. Love is that which flows through us, as us. between us. And so being able to share love and experience love is the core yearning. But I think that a lot of us misunderstand and believe that in order to be loved by someone, we have to be understood. In order for people to really, really love us, they have to understand us. And so we drive ourselves crazy trying to be understood, trying to explain ourselves, trying to make people just listen. I would imagine that the overwhelming majority of us, if not 100% of us, have had many moments in our lives where we have said to loved ones, just listen. Please just listen. I need you to understand. And that frustration, that pain when they don't understand, hits us so deeply because we think that they can't love us if they don't understand us. And that's a real tragic myth, because you absolutely can love someone even if you don't understand them. Again, if we go around, I am sure that most of us love someone who we really don't understand. We may understand the core of who they are, right? Like we get them in their hearts, we get their essence. But there are ways that they think, ways they behave, patterns they have, values they have that we just don't understand. Aspects of their personality we just don't understand. And that's okay. There is no rule that says we must really understand every bit of each other. We must understand everyone's yearnings, their goals, their dreams. We must understand the core of their feelings and their emotional state. No. We simply must understand and connect with the essence of who they are. That core divinity of who they are. That precious essence of them. That we must understand on the level of our core, our soul. So our heart feels their heart. Our soul connects with their soul. And our minds try our best to understand as much as we can. But the criteria for love is not that it must be understanding. And so when you feel misunderstood and it hurts you so much, stop for a moment and ask yourself, this person or these people who do not understand me, are they able to love me anyway? And if the answer is yes, which I imagine it will be, allow yourself to really sink into that love. Don't say yes, but. We are experts in yes, but. Yes, they love me, but. Yes, but. No, just yes. Yes, they are able to love you. Full stop. Period. And I also have a yearning that they understand. And that may or may not be fulfilled. We may be misunderstood in so many ways. But the first and most important piece is, are we able to be loved? And are we able to accept that love and feel that love and love others? The other aspect of being misunderstood comes with regard to our, not so much the core of our essence, but our integrity, our motivations. And so it hurts us a lot when someone misunderstands where we're coming from. Someone thinks we've got some agenda other than what we do. Someone thinks our priority is different than it is. They think our intention is different. So we've all said things and have been misunderstood by the person we say them to. And that really hurts because it cuts to a sense of how we identify ourselves as good people, as caring people, as loving people, as people with integrity, people with values, people with dharma. And for someone to misunderstand that and misjudge and think that we are acting out of values or out of dharma or out of integrity, it hurts. The best thing to do is, in a very calm and loving way, do your best to explain yourself. Don't criticize them, because what a lot of us then do is we say, you are stupid, you didn't understand. Or you misjudged me. Or you are too quick to judge. Or you don't understand. And we blame them. And we criticize them. And of course, that just drives us farther and farther apart. So first, allow yourself to feel love for that person in your heart. And then say to them with love, with patience, I feel misunderstood. Don't blame them, but just say, I feel misunderstood. Maybe I have not properly explained. Maybe I have misspoken. Let me try again. So you see how that puts it on me rather than on them. And that's a really important technique for positive and effective communications, because no one likes to be blamed, and being blamed, as I said, just drives us farther away. Take it on yourself. Speak your truth. You feel misunderstood. Try again and see what happens. And by the way, not everyone has the capacity to understand every aspect of us. And so a lot of times what we have to look at is not necessarily how to make them understand, but how to help ourselves accept the fact that here is a piece of me, a moment of me, whether it's a big piece or whether it was just something I said, whether it's an action, whether it's a choice, whether it's a value, that this person is not going to understand. When I moved to India, no one understood. No one understood. And yet, I knew that I was loved. I knew that just because they didn't understand didn't mean they didn't love. And so I looked for ways to explain it that didn't sound what their worst fear was. Everybody thought, of course, I had been brainwashed. I had gone crazy. And of course, the way that I was speaking about it, if you were not someone who was already God intoxicated, you certainly might think that I had gone crazy. I was in ecstasy. And the way that I was sharing that ecstasy, I am sure sounded like I was completely incoherent. I was just going on and on about God, and I can see God, and I feel God, and it's so amazing, and it's so beautiful. And given that I had never been a religious person, given that my family and friend circle were not religious people, I am sure that I sounded like I was on drugs, or that I had gone unhinged, or that I'd been brainwashed. And so I found other ways of sharing. I could speak about service. I could speak about the children. I could speak about the women in the schools. And now that made sense to people. I could speak about inner peace. I could speak about fulfillment. And they were able to hear that. Not to speak in ways that were misunderstood until enough time had passed that they were able to understand, or that at least they were able to accept that, okay, we don't understand, but this is now who she is. And they were able to accept that. So you have to navigate it also with a little bit of patience and a little bit of skill. It's not what I want to say, how I want to say it, when I want to say it, and that I just assume and expect that everyone's going to understand. You have to skillfully communicate if you really want to make sure that people understand.
Okay, so the last question is, Dear Sadhviji, do you experience God 24/7? If so, how do I reach that state? And is God present on earth currently?
Beautiful. Sorry, I had to move just a moment. The sun was directly in my eyes and I could not open them. I am aware of God's presence 24/7. Well, I shouldn't say that. I am not a lucid enough dreamer that I could tell you about my sleep state. Speaking about my waking state, I am absolutely aware of God's presence all the time. But I am not able to be fully anchored in that presence 100% of the time. I try, and I'm certainly getting better as the weeks and the months and the years go by. But that bridge between that which I am consciously aware of, so I know that God is always there. But does that mean that the way that I speak, the way that I act, even the thoughts that I have are 100% of the time in alignment with the present consciousness that God not only exists in a formless, nameless way, but actually exists in form in the manifestations of the people in front of me, in myself, and that God's perfection is manifest in every single thing that happens? No, not there yet. But getting closer, getting closer. And what I find is that as time goes by, the number of times each day that I am pulled out of that awareness become many fewer, and I notice it a lot faster. So it used to be that hours could go by before I realized, oh my God, what's happened to me? Like, where have I lost myself in the last many hours? And now, by God's grace, it's usually a matter of minutes rather than hours. And the other thing that I've noticed is that I'm able to bring myself back much faster. So it used to take a lot of meditation, deep breathing, getting away from the circumstance or the situation, and really retreating in order to regain that experience. And now, again, by God's grace, as the years have gone by, I'm able to just bring myself back much faster. A simple deep breath, a simple long exhale, a simple closing of the eyes regardless of where I am for a few moments is enough to bring me back. So stay motivated. It's absolutely possible. It absolutely can be done. And yet, we're human. And as I said, for me, it's not 100% of my waking minutes. But even in the waking moments in which I may not be responding from the awareness of God's presence, I'm still very deeply aware of God's presence. And none of this was true 25 years ago. And over the last 25 years, it has just been this incredible, really exquisite process of constant opening, constant reformation inside of the pieces of what I identify as and who I identify as. The mind, the ego, the psyche, the thoughts, the patterns. And so, if I can do it, you can all do it. But you just have to make a commitment that that is your priority. That more important than having an emotional reaction, more important than justifying an emotional reaction, more important than getting lost in drama, is anchoring yourself in God's presence. And when you know, every piece of you knows, that is your priority, then that becomes literally your North Star. And that becomes what you anchor yourself toward all the time. And is God here on earth? Absolutely, everywhere. It's not about what is the one presence of God on earth. It's not about what is that one incarnation. God is present in all. And we've been given this amazing experience to try to see God, to try to experience God in all, in the trees, in the ocean, in the clouds, in the sky, in the flowers, and in all of the people around us, in all of the species, in all of creation, to experience that presence of divinity. And what that does is it opens our hearts to the presence of divinity within ourselves. Because our mind connects to the mind of other people. My intellect can connect to your intellect. My heart connects to your heart. My body connects to your body. My soul is one with your soul. So if I am focused on the soul, the essence, the divinity in others, I have to be coming at it from the place of soul, of divinity within myself. And that is a very great gift to give yourself. All of those opportunities to come at the world, to move through the world as soul, as consciousness, as divinity. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening if you are joining us from India, or if you're watching this later anywhere in the world where it may be evening. Have a beautiful morning and day. If it's daytime for you, it's morning here in LA on the banks of the Pacific Ocean. Wherever you may be, let it be beautiful. and know that you have the power to make it beautiful, regardless of the situation you may find yourself in. Let that experience of the beauty come from within you. And have a beautiful rest of your weekend. I will see you here on Facebook on Monday, same time for our live meditation. And on Tuesday again for Satsang. But join us also tomorrow live on Instagram. We do a live Sacred Sunday on Instagram where people can come up and join and ask questions as well. So that is just half an hour later. It's 8:30 in the evening in India, 8 a.m. in LA, 11 a.m. in New York. It's Sunday mornings in America, Sunday evening, 8:30 in India. So much love to you all.